Hello and welcome to Naughty Overlord Games. We're now live on Hangout on Air, and happy to be with you all today. Now we've had a bit of a chance to look at stuff. We're watching myself back on my webcam. So hi everyone. Now I've been reading some stuff recently because we've been making our own game. So I've been rereading rule books. I haven't read for some time. Pretty much one since October, one since well before then, because I literally haven't read it since it stopped being relevant. And that the first one is Dropzone Commander, which is an amazing game. Not really what I'm basing my game on at all, but it's definitely good to read, see how they've done it, see how Hulk Wargames did it, and yeah, no, it's a fantastic game. They've got some brilliant miniatures. It is very much dropping them off and letting them battle it out. What's cool? It's definitely an interesting concept. I do love the concept of the game. Now this is the old one. This is one. I think they've updated it subsequently. That being said, that's not an issue. So that's not too bad. And I just really love it. It's softback, so it's not hardback at all. But so it's a nice book. It's well presented. It's a nice sort of. It feels bigger than A4. But it gives you all about the sort of, United Colonies of mankind. Sorry, it gives you some pictures of templates. It's a really nicely done book. We are hoping to acquire some in stock soon, just because all games are brilliant. Now, this is I think an old one. This is way from 2012. So it's when the game first came out. Pretty much around that, and this is pretty much her first edition. I'm joking. It's got the Scourge units, and it's got the UCM and stuff like that, and it's a really good sort of reference guide as well. It's absolutely fantastic. The pictures in there are amazing. They've done a really great job on that. And it's definitely something I've enjoyed reading again, like for the fourth time now. I've not actually got any of the miniatures. That's the sad thing. I've only ever read the book, and I've really enjoyed it though. And I have played it when I had it at a wargaming club that I was in. Really fantastic. It sort of played really nicely. Mind you, he actually knew what he was doing. I would still have no idea after reading it every time that I can. I also read Kings of War, what's by Mantic, and that's a fantastic rulebook. And I know the Mantic are bringing out tons of new games. What's fantastic. They've got Dreadball coming out soon. They're constantly refreshing them. What I just really enjoy, to be honest. And it's nice that they refresh the rules regularly. It's not always great because sometimes you get used to the rules, and then sometimes it changes. But that's not an issue as such. And also sort of Warhammer 40k as well. So that's something we don't stock at all. So I won't go on too much about that. But I really enjoyed reading one of the rule books of that too. But one thing we have been looking into is D20 Future and D20 Modern. Now D20 Future, I think, is an expansion to D20 Modern, I think, if I remember correctly, by Wizard. And they've got the credits in there, so they're designed by additional designers. Design manager. There's a lot of managing of people designing stuff. I'm joking, but no, they've done a really great job. I really love the sort of image work as well. It feels very anime almost in it, and I really love the rules as well. It's really fantastic. So you got a nice campaign, and the characters don't feel too generic. They feel not like too the biomorph. That's always cool, and then you've got some brilliant imagery, some brilliant rules. It's D20, so it's a little different. Once again, but I've really enjoyed reading that. It's always good fun reading D20 stuff, and also Pathfinder, as well as any wizard game really. So that's D&D as well. So I think wizard, maybe D&D. I may have forgotten. I don't know. I can't remember. No, I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm going to stick with it. Comment below. So yeah, so basically that's what I've been doing recently. I have been painting some nice little figures from Warlord. That was a Boromite gang fighter. So there he is again. So I've been painting him. It's been a slow process because I've also been painting my wife, and here she is. She's usually on her mobility scooter, which is poorly painted. But at the same time, I'm not that worried about painting them. You know, I've also got her sister Katie, who's a thinner version, but yeah, scary nonetheless, and probably just as equally annoying. She's just as equally annoying to paint, that's for sure. And I've got a couple of chips out of the paintwork. So yeah, so we've been doing those. I've really enjoyed that. I've also painted recently the limited edition. I say limited edition. There was thousands of them. Warhammer 40k Space Marine, the Imperial Space Marine. I painted him in all his splendor. The detail didn't actually come up as good as I was hoping it to. And in all honesty, you know, I love my Crimson Fists, but he just doesn't do it for me. He's just not doing it for me. Crimson Fist wise. You know, I'm a Dark Angel player, but I love the look of the Crimson Fist. There's also not that many left, which is always interesting. Always interesting. We've also started thinking about our own games. So, you know, I'm happy to get suggestions from yourselves. Now, this is basically we're designing a game. Primarily to be unique. I don't want it to like any other game you've seen, but at the same time, I want it slightly modern, slightly futuristic, with a slight element of fantasy. But that's clearly asking an awful lot. Now, you know, I've started writing the rules. It's going to be a D10 system. I think it's quite a fun little system. D10. It's definitely. Well, it's not unique. That would be the wrong word to use. But at the same time, it's really interesting that the D10, because I've not played that many D10. I know there's quite a few. I haven't played that many, so it's actually quite interesting to start thinking about that. And you know, we are trying to make it a bit more modern, but at the same time, not too modern and a bit too generic. Because otherwise it feels a bit dated quite quickly. I've noticed that some games that are just a bit too similar to others can be a bit dated quite quickly, because I almost imagine them, you know, as other games. What's stupid, but at the same time quite relevant. So I don't want to date it so much, and I want it to sort of almost develop with our own current timeline. So by modern, I mean literally modern. So as new weapons come out, we can include them in the game and model and miniaturize them and make them fun and playable. What would be really cool, because new weapons are constantly coming out. So and that includes aircraft, which I hope to include at some point. It's just trying to make sure the right sort of rules are out there for them. I don't want there to be disgusting rules where basically everyone's got flyers because no bastard can shoot the fuckers down. Probably shouldn't swear, but I did, and I do apologise. But basically, I'm also thinking, what can I do to improve my service? Now, I was also thinking, I love pizza parties, mainly because I love pizza. If you can't tell my size, I'm a big chap. I do love pizza and I love ice cream. And there's a pizza place in Bury that I'm going to start holding events in, just because they are lovely enough to let me use one of their tables regularly. And I really want to start getting sort of different kinds of parties going on. So I'd love to do a D&D party campaign there. It might be a bit weird, like, you know, monthly D&D pizza party, but that would be really fun. I'd also love to get into sort of more Pokemon side of things. So the trading cards and Magic the Gathering, doing regular events in there, because the guys there are absolutely fantastic. If you've got a chance to go there, please come with us. And yeah, and also sort of little wargaming seminars as well. So one thing we've been, I went over to Spain recently. I can't remember when now. It's really bad. May, I think it was. So a couple of months now, and I found a relatively new game over there. What's Bad Roll Games, and that is a fantastic rule system. Absolutely amazing. The miniatures are incredible as well. So I'm going to just try and look for one on my desk, just because I've got thousands of miniatures on my desk. But I just love them as miniatures. They're really well sculpted. They have fantastic sort of look to them. And I can't find it, which is a bother, because I really love that miniature. Yeah, like literally I can't find it anywhere. I've got loads of miniatures, and that one doesn't seem to be on my desk. I'm actually starting to worry, because that's a fantastic mini. Ah, there she is. So this is a badass. Now I know what it looks like. It looks like she's got blackface. Well, I didn't want to go for. But at the same time, there's good reason for that, because she's going to be that color. So, and I think she's fantastic. Now, she's a badass in the gangers, and they're pretty cool, but they're not my favorites. My favorites are junkers, personally, the scavengers of the land. But we won't talk about that too much. We will leave that for another day, when I've got my friend Rodney, as I'm going to call him, but his real name is Dave. He's a lovely chap. Hopefully he'll take part soon. I'm really hoping so. He's a fantastic chap, and he knows his stuff about sort of war games, and he will hopefully steady the load of me talking constantly about stuff. Breathe. Now, another thing that we played recently, and that's Watch the Skies. That the last episode of that came from, well, the last official sort of big one in London came very recently. I had the great opportunity to be a whale. I was a beluga. It was good fun. Now, I've also played other mega games as well, and only smaller versions, and that was literally a mega game. That was 300 people all playing the same game at different parts, and all having different objectives. It was an incredible event, and I'd love to replicate that with miniature war games, and that's something that I'm looking into as well, because I think miniature war games can be that. It sounds a bit weird, but if the right rules are in place, it could be really fun, especially in Beyond the Gates of Antares, which I pronounced wrong on purpose now, because I can't be bothered to pronounce it correctly. And you could pretty much have an official campaign weekend where everyone is playing the same campaign, and it all affects the universe. Now, that would clearly not be an official campaign if I ran it, because I'm not Warlord. But at the same time, it would be fantastic, and I would really urge people to come along and help with that if they should so wish. And I think mega games are really fantastic. They can really ignite you into sort of playing a role that you wouldn't necessarily play. I do love board games as well, though. But yeah, you're playing a role. I've been the sort of governor of Kentucky as such, trying to get re-elected. Apparently didn't, even though I was brilliant. Just saying. And it was brilliant fun. And we, and then I decided that after I got elected, my county, my state would secede from the union. So we did, and I became the crazy king of Kentucky, all spelt with a K, of course. And we welcomed Karen the Kraken, also spelt with K's, and she came to live in our Sea Life Centre. Well, she didn't. She got angry, but we welcomed her. The crazy king of Kentucky welcomed her until we got brought back into the Union by the lovely CIA. So, that was a fantastic day, done at all the Duxford Museum. So that was really fantastic, and a brilliant venue as well. I didn't believe how fantastic it was, but we won't talk about venues here and now. one thing I've been looking into is sort of different paints as well, because there's Army Builder and there's also Citadel and there's tons of others. And I personally use Citadel, mainly just ease of like getting them. You know, I don't like ordering paints because I find they just sit in my house otherwise and don't do anything. And that sort of sucks. So, but at the same time, so I've got my own sort of personal paint. I don't sell paint because it's not one of those things I have an interest in selling over the internet. But I would be interested in hearing your suggestions. Maybe you want to tell me to start doing that as well. I'd love to start selling new games. I did see a new game relatively recently that was that's not what I want. Where was it? I did speak to them the other day. They weren't interested in me selling their stuff as well. Now, clearly, I'd have to buy from them, so it's all money in their pocket at the end of the day. But they had a fantastic game, and it's something that I think should be mentioned. And they're a little English company. It's called Arcworld, Troubles in the North. And all I can really think of at the moment is Atmakirov, but that would be, you know, sad and Game of Thrones related, which would be awesome as a mega game or anything really. There is a mega game, but I apparently can't get on to it because they sold out of spots. So, yay! What's really great, and you know, there's some really fantastic sort of games out there if you know where to look. And sort of play as well. And if you get a group of friends together, and that's what makes gaming so fun for me personally, is getting your friends together, playing something like Cards Against Humanity or Exploding Kittens, one of my all-time favorite games. And that sounds really nerdy. Oatmeal did a wonderful job along with the other team that he had. It was fantastic, and I just want to hear what other people want to say. They you know, clearly they can have their own opinions, but that to me is a fantastic game. It sort of really, to me, makes me feel like I'm having fun, even if I get like exploded, like literally first round by the wife, who like literally went back from me. Went, yeah, Paul, your turn. Nope. What? Not literally, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Mind you, I am fat, so maybe that's the excuse I can use. I don't think exploding kittens makes you fat. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, there's some really interesting bits and bobs, and I'd be really happy to sort of talk to people, and that's something that the company that I work for has always sort of wanted. From I started, I've always wanted to help smaller businesses. Now I'm a terribly small business. I literally operate out of my home. I probably shouldn't do. But at the same time, I found that I want to help other people. And that's part of the ethics that I'm always going to take into it, is that I should be helping other people in any way I can. So if you've got any suggestions, email us at paul@naughtyoverlord.com. If you want to come in contact with us without sending us an email directly, you can do. You can do it on our website. You can also buy products, and you can subscribe to our channel. Whoa! So yeah. So if you want to talk to us on the sort of hangout in the future, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to try and accommodate you. And yeah, no, it'd be really fantastic to have you on the team. So peace, respect, whatever you want to use. Have a nice evening, and be cool. Ta-da!